Genevieve Wood joining us right now.
The stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
Genevieve Wood, I'm feeling like we're in a odd, crazy police state right now, and it's terrifying, to tell you the truth.
And not one imposed by the Trump administration, as you would have the protesters suggest.
Right. Yes, I mean, and it's being imposed from the inside. And again, I don't want to be paranoid, and also I don't want to sit there and just say, well, everybody's innocent, there's been no contact with... I mean, I want to know too, obviously. But based on what we have so far, the only thing we have in a concrete form is that we know General Flynn was wiretapped, and the results of that wiretap were leaked to the press by our own government.
Right. I mean, Jamie, listen, there are embeds, if you want to call them that, throughout the intelligence agencies, whether you're talking about the CIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, the FBI, and frankly, every other government bureaucracy and agency in town. And it is filled with people who do not like Donald Trump, who do not like what he wants to do, and who are more committed to fighting his policies at every turn, starting with foreign policy. But this will not be the only place. Look what's happening with the ban on the 7 countries. I mean, the way the judges are totally misinterpreting that law and trying to stall there. I mean, these are just 2 examples, this and the Flynn scenario, that we're going to see, I think, played out over and over again. It's one reason they have got to get those cabinet secretaries through so that at each of these agencies, they can start appointing deputies and pointing more political appointees down the chain that won't stop all of this, but it will go a far way in eliminating some of this leaking and eliminating some of this kind of playing around behind the scenes because nobody else is there to manage the government bureaucratic children right now. And stop some of this nonsense.
Right. Well, and we just go back to the very day of the immigration or the travel ban executive order, and one of the reasons why there were some holes in it that were easily identified, regardless of what your political point of view is because we didn't have an attorney general at that point. And
that's right.
And they all started griping about the thing, but it was because of their obstruction that we didn't have somebody who was overseeing the operation who could lock it down.
Well, I mean, look, Donald Trump is clearly a very talented man, and so are some of his very top advisors. But, you can't have just 4 people running the entire government. And the problem we've had is just what you just pointed out. He has not been given what presidents in all the he has fewer political cabinet appointees today than anybody since George Washington, okay? So that means we've got to go all the way back to the beginning of the country, back when the government was not anywhere near the size it is today, and that's how many political appointees he has up to date compared to past presidents. It's an outrage. It's not the way things should be done. It's their attempt to try to make him fail. And look, I think they know if he has success in any way, they're in trouble. And so therefore they've got to do everything they can to make sure it doesn't get the economy going again. They got to make sure, for heaven's sakes, we keep the public schools right where they are because they're so great. We don't want to see any improvements there because if we do, oh my goodness, maybe some people who have been thinking those were the holy grail forever will realize he was right about that. Or the inner cities, what happens if he starts doing things that actually start making places like Chicago safer? They don't want to see that happen because that would mean he's being successful. I mean, it is a travesty, not just that they're just trying to stop Donald Trump, but it's a travesty that they're trying to withhold the forward progress and the safety, frankly, of the American people, the betterment of our education system for our kids. I mean, whose side are they on? It's not that they just are on Donald Trump's side. They seem to be against the side of the American people.
Yeah, this is the plot against the American people being
really
carried
is.
out by his enemies. And you're right. I mean, it seems like it's more than just, pettiness. It's actually a process that they're going through right now. And I just can't imagine. So at what point, who investigates the investigators? Like, for instance, I know that they're going to have these investigations of Flynn and of contacts with Russia. And I think the American people, I understand that people want to have answers and they want to know what really is going on. But who investigates the investigators? Who investigates the people who leaked the wiretap of General Flynn?
Well, that's a very good question, and some of this will determine on who leads all this. Is it Justice Department? Is it some House committee? Is it a special prosecutor? I mean, there's so many different ways that this could go, but I think, Jamie, it can be quite simple. I mean, if Flynn was wiretapped and we know what he said, then we know what he said. I mean, I'm not sure how much more you have to investigate there. What I would want to know is beyond that, then, as you said, is, okay, well, who ruled that? Who called for that? How did that get out to the press? I mean, it's one thing if you say, well, all U.S. officials have to be, taped when talking to foreign emissaries, whatever the rule may be. But there is no rule that says that then it's supposed to be leaked. As a matter of fact, that's a violation of the law to put a U.S. citizen in that context. So I think finding the leakers is just as important here, because it won't just be General Flynn who's now caught in the crosshairs. There will be a lot of other people who are, frankly, doing good government business who might find themselves the subject of leaks just because you have political hacks trying to make a point.
Well, and here's the worst part is I think they do know what Mike Flynn said, because if you got to the point where you've leaked the information about the conversation, whoever leaked the story, and also somebody has a transcript, and these people do know what he said, and the only reason they're not reporting is because they know it's going to prove he did nothing illegal.
Right. Look, if the word sanctions came up, I'm not sure that that's really a violation of anything. The question is, was he trying to deal with them? And this is where, though, I have to put it at Flynn's feet and say, the cover-up is always, as they say, worse sometimes than the act being investigated. And he should have just come clean and said, yeah, it came up, here's what I said. And if it wasn't over the line, then fine, we move on. And even if it was close to the line or over, he could have apologized and said, I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to do that. I think you could have had a much fairer hearing in the public arena. But denying it, putting the vice president out there in the place he did, not cool.
Yeah, no, that was not right to lie to Mr. Clean. That's for sure. And I know that's the pay point where General Flynn had to pay the price for that. But again, I maintain I think they do know exactly what he said. Because if they've gone this far, they know exactly what he said, and the only reason I can figure that they're not revealing it is because it would exonerate him and they would like to keep it afloat that there's the possibility he was doing something illegal. So I think somebody does know what he said. They're not telling us. All right. Well, Genevieve Wood, always great to talk to you. Thanks for laying it out for us. DailySignal.com, heritage.org. We appreciate you as always.